That's tasty. It's a CEO Stout that my buddy Zach sent me. Appreciate that, brother. Welcome. It's another brand new comic book day. It's Wednesday, which means I went to my local comic shop, picked up my books. For those of you who don't know me, I'm Caleb Alexander McKenzie. I'm one of the 4 co-hosts of the illustrious, growing, ever-popular little podcast that we do called the Southern Fried Geekery Podcast. We drop new episodes every Sunday. Check it out. It's a lot of fun. I think we're talking about news this week, so we get in some of the more recent news things that have been coming out lately. So what am I doing? I am talking about new comic books that I picked up for the week with you guys. It'll be shared on our Facebook page and our YouTube channel, both of which you should be members of, followers of. Check them out. Post some cool stuff on there. Have some cool conversations with other comic fans, other nerd culture fans, which is really what our podcast is about. It's what we do. So without further ado, let's dive into it. Let's talk about some of these new books. Put some of the ones on top that I'm more excited about than others. I'm excited about them all. I love comics. Comics are just cool. First and foremost, New Agents of Atlas. This is a War of the Realms tie-in, and it's kind of the only War of the Realms tie-in I'm picking up, mainly because it's Greg Pak and Dexter Soy. I enjoyed both of those guys. No, I stand corrected. It's Gang Hook Lim, a fantastic artist. I've seen him work with Pak before, and this is going to reconnect some of the characters from the Champions, some of the more Asian characters that have had their own team. It's fun times. That's it. See, it's the only War of the Realms tie-in book that I'm really picking up. I know some of the guys from the show are picking up some other ones. Sure, we'll hear about those. Curious. I like this group, so we'll see. We'll see what they do. I'm a big fan of Amadeus Cho. So, book number 2 that I'm really excited about this week, Batman and the Outsiders. And why am I excited about this? You may be asking yourself. And it's mainly, if I can get by without the glare, it's mainly that right there, Cassandra. I love that character. Fell in love with her during Tinian the Fourth's run on Detective Comics. So I'm excited to see her jumping back in and being a part of this Bat family. Now she can speak a little bit. She's probably the most deadly person in Batman's catalog that he can use. And so, I mean, there's nothing to not like there. Hope everybody's doing all right. It's a really rainy, kind of shitty day here in Little Rock, flash flooding, so it's doing this mess wherever you're at. Stay inside, stay safe, because there's no reason to get out in it, because it's nasty. If you know people who live outside, go check on them. Make sure they're okay. Bronze Age Boogie number 2. This is an Ahoy book. I really enjoyed number 1 because it's just dumb fun comics. When they say Bronze Age, Boogie, they are not joking. They throw everything, including the kitchen sink, at you in this book. I mean, there is kung fu movies, there's science fiction, there's, War of the Worlds, just everything. There's some Shang-Chi, there's some blaxploitation stuff. It's a lot of fun, and what I love about these books is that these Ahoy books is they drop little stuff in the back for you, little neat little. I don't know. They just it's prose, so they little articles that you can read. It's just there's a little bit of extra, and that's always nice. And I should say, forgive me, Stuart Moore and Alberto Ponticelli is the creative team on this book, and Dexter Soy. This is where I got Dexter Soy a while ago. Dexter Soy is drawing the Outsiders book, and Mr. Joe Hill is making his return to comics after a little bit of hiatus and doing the Batman. And dude's good, to say the least. That's an understatement. He's a fantastic writer. Arguably better than his dad. I know. Ooh, I said it. Shh, don't tell him. Shadow Rose, Cullen Bunn, Brian Hertz, Carlos Zamito. It's the narrative sequel to Six Gun. I'm not liking it as much as I did like Six Gun, but I'm going to stay on there. It's science fantasy westerns, if that makes any sense. If you read Six Gun, Totally it fits right in. I don't know. Six Gun was special, and I don't know that it's doing the work that book did. But you know what is doing work? Conan right now at Marvel. And this was a big Conan week. You got not one, not two, but three Conan books. Because I'm a child, I have to do hand things. Three, count them. Uno, dos, tres. Yay! So if you love Conan, it's a great day for everybody but your wallet. Not mad about it. So first, possibly foremost, hadn't really made it beside my mind yet. Savage Sword of Conan. Jerry Duggan's writing it. Ron Garney's drawing it. It's brutal. It's the cult of Koga Thun, which if you're a Conan fan, you know there's a long legacy there. The art in this book is spectacular. Ron Garney's just slaying it, to say the least. It's truly gorgeous. I've seen Ron do amazing work before, but this is standing out. He's a little bit looser than he's been before. He's doing some new things. He's letting his colorists play around with some stuff. It's doing some really cool work. Conan the Barbarian. Jason Aaron, who was born and bred to write the Barbarian. He's doing a fantastic job on it. Mahmoud Esrar, Matt Wilson on the colors. This book has been kind of jumping around, so he's going through a series called The Life and Death of Conan. So each issue he's giving a little snapshot into the life of Conan. It's good stuff. It's cool. I mean, Mahmoud Esrar is bonkers good. That's bananas. Like, the dude's not human. It's a little less brutal, I think, than maybe Savage Sword is. And, you know, I say that and I turn to a page where there's a burning pile of things. But, I mean, God bless him. I don't know if you... Sorry about the lighting. My lighting's shit. I'm not a professional videographer. That's what they're called. I'm not even trying to be. Both of those books, if you're a Conan fan, you're going to be happy with them. I know our buddy Matt tends to like Savage Sword. I, for a while, liked Conan better. Now I'm kind of leaning towards Savage Sword just because I like the narrative. It's not broken. So, it's fun. Interesting book is The Age of Conan. It's Belit. Belit. I'm not really sure how you pronounce her name. Teenie Howard, Kate Nemenzek, Scott Hanna, and Jason Keith doing the art. Story of Belit the Pirate Queen. Kind of an origin story for her. It's been fun so far. I really like the art. Fair warning, because it happened to me, and I know I've talked about this on these little webisodes before, the art on your cover does not match your art in the interiors, and that threw me off at first. I didn't think I was going to like it. This has way more of a cartoonish, almost childlike style, even though it's not necessarily child content. It's not heavily detailed. I don't know. It is aesthetically pleasing to me. Your mileage may vary. It's very simplistic cartoon. Not simplistic in the way that like children's art books are, but I don't know. Just judge it for yourself. Maybe you'll see what I'm talking about. Maybe not. It leaves a lot for your brain to fill in. Maybe that's what I'm trying to say. The lines are, there's a little bit of sparseness in the detail, so it makes your brain do some work, and that's cool stuff. Speaking of kids' books that have been really cool, and I know Jerry's digging the shit out of this as well. Ronan Island number 3 came out today. It's Greg Pak, Milo Giannis, Irma Kniva. There's an island out in the middle of the ocean, and Chinese, Japanese, and the Koreans have all worked together. Apparently on the mainland, a little bit of zombie issues are taking place in a very feudal East Asian society, and they've got to make some choices to save themselves. Are they under the power of a feudal lord? Who knows? We're going to find out. I'm not sure how many issues this is supposed to go for, maybe 6. But the cool thing about this is, and this is something I need to see more of in comics, you can hand this book to a kid. Like my nieces, It's action packed. It's fun. They're not going to feel like it's dumbed down, but it's also safe for them to read. It's rock and roll. It's Greg Pak, and Greg Pak's the reason I picked up the Agents of Atlas. I love that dude. He hooked me with Conan, or no, Conan with the Hulk. I need more beer. Can't talk. That is really good beer. I likes it. Sad day. Murder Falcon comes to an end. Sad because I want more. I'm not ready for the story to be over. I can't wait to read this book. Daniel Warren Johnson. He just keeps leveling up, dude. You just like you were here, and then you were here, and now you're like can't even see my arms anymore. The man is unreal. I got lucky. I picked up a variant cover. So if that doesn't look like the one you have, that's why. My local comic shop snagged that for me. It is one of the most emotional books we'll get this year. And it's full of metal, full of guitar, rock and roll, full of heart. Made me tear up several times. Keeping the Marvel train going. Y'all know Namor is my dude. He's like my third dude, I think. It's something about the underwear. Who knows? Who can say? I love this book, man. It is kind of spinning out of continuity of early Namor books, and Chip Zdarsky, I don't know who lit a fire under that dude, but he is crushing it on everything he's writing. It's badass. He has come out of his shell and is really just going full steam. To me, he is this year to what Donny Cates was for 2018, and that's high praise. That's really high praise, I think, for anybody who's kind of talking about current comics would tell you. Also, really high praise, Butch Geis doing the art in this book. Y'all see, I mean, you obviously check out our Instagram page. I'll post some better stills on there. Butch Geis and Carlos Magno are teaming up on this book, dude. They're like drawing in different eras, and they're just playing off each other so well. It's so pretty. I personally like Butch Geis's art better than Carlos's, but I mean we're talking. I mean neither is bad. They're both aesthetically pleasing. They're going to make you happy. You're going to want to pour over these pages, and you want to know what the fuck Namor's doing, because that's the point. Why is he going crazy? Hawkman. This has been one of the best books at DC. Talking to some guys at my local comic shop earlier, we were talking about some of the best art that's come out from DC here lately. Obviously, Liam Sharp on Green Lantern. Man, Brian Hitch. This is the Brian Hitch that I knew and loved. Like, I don't know, for several years he kind of slumped for me, but this is stunning. This is amazing, and it's amazing what they're doing with the Hawk. One of my best books of last year. I think it was my favorite DC books that we watched or that we read last year when we did our little end of the year review. Batman Detective Comics. You know, we are still on the come down from Detective 1000, which had a few great stories in it, had some not so great. Peter Tomasi is writing this, and Brad Walker doing the pencils, Andrew Hennessy on the inks, Nathan Fairbairn doing the colors. And they're dealing with the Arkham Knight. There's some really cool stuff. I think the technical name for the arc is Medieval. It's been fun. It's giving me the action and the narrative that I've been missing from Tom King's run as of late, which is starting to pick up again. So, you know, we knew it would. Fun stuff. One of the best books of Marvel right now is Captain America. Ta-Nehisi Coates is a genius, and you didn't need me to tell you that. You're smart people, so you know. You listened to the show before. Adam Kubert doing art. Frank Martin. It's Adam Kubert. If you've read Adam Kubert stuff, you know what to expect. Not really doing anything new. It's just pretty to look at. You know, it's a good Cap story. It's a little bit of a different take on Cap, and we knew that was going to happen with Ta-Nehisi. He's diving heavy into the political side of it, but it's not. He's playing off of some of the work that Spencer did, but it's not unpleasing. The last floppy I picked up this week is Black Hammer Age of Doom. It's Jeff Lemire, Dean Ormston, Dave Stewart, and Tom Klein. Up for an Eisner, unsurprisingly. It plays off of Golden Age tropes. This is issue 10. Go pick up the Black Hammer stuff. It's some of the best stuff on the shelf, and it's Jeff Lemire. So one book and this is the last book I want to talk about, that I was able to pick up this week, is a new OGN. It came out today. It's by Ingrid Chabert and Caro Mario. It's called Waves. It's the story of a young couple. They get pregnant together, and they're kind of dreaming of the future, and then they, and all of this is told on the back, so there's not really spoilers. But it's one of those more literary comics that I tend to love. They lose their baby. They go through depression. They go through loss. They're struggling to reclaim some sense of hope, some sense of who they are, and wrap their minds around the future. There's some post-traumatic stress disorder, obviously, and it really dives into the psychology of loss, and the psychology of what it might be to experience that. And it's told from Ingrid's own history, and so there's a lot of autobiographical stuff, put into this book. And the art is, it's very, very expressionistic. It's, there's not a lot of color, but with the color when they use it, it does things to the spirit of the book, the nature of what it is. It's going to evoke emotion, the whole thing. I can't wait to truly read this. It's absolutely my top 5 of my picks for the day. Proud to have it on my shelf. I hope I love it, and I want to see. Well, that's all my books for the week. I think I had 15 floppies plus that, maybe 14 plus that. I don't usually count those things. Stayed within my budget. Means I'm happy. I've got to get off here and finish my beer again, given to me by the incredible Mr. Zach, and just thanks, brother, for everything. The Conan comics, all of it. But I'm sure you're tired of listening to me, so you guys go forth and love some comics. Peace out.